What's up, College Station? I'm Grace Hollowell, and today we have a very special episode of What's Up, College Station. My guests are Ross Brady, our Chief of Staff, and Kimberly McNally, our Historical Archivist here at the City of College Station. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks. I'm glad you're here. We have a special project that we've been keeping a secret for what feels like ages now, and I'm so excited that we get to finally share things about it. But we have been working on a history book for the City of College Station for a little over a year now. So Ross, let's kind of talk about what led to this project. I know we've done similar things in the past, but this one is very different from the previous editions.
It is, and that's a great question, Grace. So 2 years ago, the city celebrated its 85th anniversary in 2023, and for that event, we installed a history wall in City Hall across 140 feet of wall space, and so that kind of kicked things off. We had the council express interest in building on that momentum and doing an updated history book. The city's done two in the past, so one by Deborah Lynn Ballou in 1988 and one by Tim Gregg in 2019. And so they wanted to update the book and kind of gave us two missions. So the subcommittee of council that did this was Bob Brick, Linda Harvell, Dennis Maloney, and William Wright. And their goals for us were to create a book that was engaging and really kind of captivating, interesting, and something that kind of picked up where the other books left off and then took the history book to the modern day. So in working on the history wall, we realized that we had a lot of really great archival images in Project Hold, and I think Kimmy can probably touch on that, but that's what launched us into deciding to do a pictorial history book, which is what we've done. So it is like a coffee table book style with really great imagery from the past and present. And Kimmy, do you want to talk about some of the past imagery we have there?
Yeah, so Project Hold is the city's archival database, and in that you can find a lot of old information and images that we have scanned in. It's all publicly accessible, and you can kind of search for whatever topics interest you. So for the purposes of this book, we focused a lot on some images that we think spoke to the community, and used Project Hold to find some more images and also some information to support the history of those images. And so all of that is available through the City of College Station website. And we also did some additional research outside of that using local newspapers and just other historical sites that we were able to find.
And over time, I'm not sure how long Project Hold has been around, about over 10 years.
I think it's more like 25.
Yeah. So over time, people have been so generous with the images that we have a pretty good-sized archive there. And so a real goal in this book was to showcase imagery that isn't the images that everybody has seen of College Station, because there are a few of those, right? Like we've all seen some of the same photos over and over. And so we really wanted to do new stories, new photos that haven't been there, and photos that tell a story, right? So, which I think we've really done in some great ways. And one thing we wanted to do was, again, since this book was meant to pick up where the old books left off and take it to the present day, we have a lot of then and now imagery. So things that were in College Station in 1938 when the city was founded, or earlier, or in the 50s, 60s, so on, and then how those things look today or something like that. And the modern day photography is beautiful. Our folks did a great job with that. And then while all of the imagery is great, it is not just a picture book, right? The goal that I always think of when I was thinking of how we were doing this book was that if your cousin who had never been to College Station in their life was coming to visit the city and they were in your house and this book was laying on the coffee table, its cover would be so interesting that they couldn't help but pick it up, open to any page in the book, and look at some beautiful imagery and find some interesting information about the city. And that, I think we've done too. I think all of the captions in the book are short enough to be readable, but are informative and interesting enough to make you want to read, and you will come away learning something about the history of the city.
Yes, and this process, while we were in Project Hold, looking at these images, we would find one that we would be like, we know there's a story to this. This is a very interesting missing image? What is the story? So we would dig a little deeper, and then once we found the story, incorporate that. And it was a fun project for me because I am not a College Station native, so I feel like I've learned a lot more that I didn't know from the history wall or any other historical projects that we've worked on here. I'm a visual learner, so seeing these photos and seeing the progression of things with the then and now is very fascinating to me. I love history, and I have a greater appreciation for College Station after working on this project.
It is great just to be able to put stories to some of the names you know around the city, whether it's a street name or a building on campus or anything like that. You'll start to see through this book, like you'll learn who those people were. And I think that's really cool, of it adding that personal element to the history of College Station.
Yes, and because we are now finished with the book, finally, it feels like we've been working on this forever, we are going to celebrate the book with a book launch party. So Ross, let's talk a little bit about what this event entails.
Yeah, so we are launching the book May 19th. At 6 p.m. at 1207 Texas Avenue, which is College Station's Visitor Center. I think it's going to be a great event. So we have a speaker lined up. We will be debuting the book, so nobody will have seen the cover before this event. And something that two things that I'm excited about. So one, there's a couple of restaurants that are featured in the book, just because they have been in the community for a long time, or something significant happened there, or their architecture is significant. And so we reached out to those restaurants to see if they were interested in providing catering, and some of them have been. So we will be featuring local restaurants as the caterers there. And also, we are inviting people to bring images from any point in College Station's history to the event as well. And we'll have a wall where you can kind of pin them up with clothespins so that the images won't be damaged. You'll be able to take it back home with you at the end of the night, but it'll be there to kind of like create a dialogue. And since the whole book is about sharing stories, sharing images, having people bring in their photos and do that will help that too. And I think it's a cool way to share.
Yes, that's a very unique way to share history, but that's kind of what community is all about, is sharing different stories from the people in your area. So 6 p.m. Monday, May 19th at the 1207 Texas Avenue building. Definitely come out. The book will be available to purchase at this event, correct?
Yes, ma'am. It's $40 a copy, and we will have plenty of copies there for sale.
Yes, plenty of copies there for sale, and it is a hefty book. There's a lot of images in there, so it's definitely a great value for your money. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
And that's what's up.